You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. The Hazleton Area School Board voted unanimously last night to adopt their 2020-2021 budget, meaning that unfortunately, taxes will rise. WYLN's Phil Kaufman has the details.
Property taxes will be going up for homeowners in Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Carbon counties as the Hazleton Area School Board adopted its fiscal 2020-2021 budget at Thursday night's meeting. It's the highest tax increase allowed by the Pennsylvania Act 1 index. The district's deficit started out at almost $9 million, but officials worked together to cut it nearly in half to just under $3.9 million. The majority of the deficit was related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The districts didn't see an increase in state funding and suffered a loss from the earned income tax, with so many people being out of work. There was also a 38% drop in real estate transfer taxes. The board also voted last night to purchase Chromebooks for every student in the district. 3,000 computers plus licenses cost $547,710 and came through the Pennsylvania Education Purchasing Program that bids on the lowest priced equipment. The funding came from the CARES Act grant. Hazleton Area received a one-time amount of $3.6 million that can be spent over a 3-year period. Now the district is one step closer to providing computers to all of the 11,500 children that make up the student body. The next regular school board meeting is scheduled for July 23rd at 6 p.m. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thanks, Phil. The state of Pennsylvania is one step closer to being totally in the green. Governor Tom Wolf and the Secretary of Health amended orders for 12 more counties to move into the green phase. As of 12:01 a.m., Lackawanna, Lehigh, Delaware, and 8 other counties are in the least restrictive phase. However, the governor says it's imperative for people to continue wearing masks while in public and social distancing. As of today, 66 counties are in green, with the lone yellow one being Lebanon, which is scheduled to transition to green next Friday, July 3rd. After a 2-day search, the body of a missing kayaker has been found. The police chief of Montour Township said the man's body was recovered by dive teams around 7:15 this morning. The kayaker went missing Wednesday during a trip down the Susquehanna River in Columbia County. The man's identity has not been released at this time. An investigation was launched into allegations against a Schuylkill County commissioner. Officials said today that many of the allegations against George Halkovich appear to be credible. County Risk Manager Glenn Roth Jr. said that the investigation was just completed and that a detailed statement will be made public next week. The woman infamously known for spitting and coughing on nearly $35,000 worth of grocery store items back in March is heading to trial. 36-year-old Margaret Ann Serco of Hanover Township reportedly went into the Garrity supermarket on the Sanssouci Parkway March 25th and began to cough and spit on their merchandise, claiming she had the coronavirus. She allegedly cost the store around $35,000 worth of food that had to be destroyed. At a preliminary hearing yesterday, Judge Joseph Hallisey bound her charges of criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and making terroristic threats for trial. Serco's currently free on $50,000 bail. A mountaintop man was sentenced for laundering over $7 million through a fraudulent tax return scheme. 30-year-old Jonathan Jacombs accused of leading the conspiracy that used stolen identities to file fraudulent tax returns in 2011 and 2012. He pled guilty pursuant to a plea agreement with the government to a single count of money laundering. In total, $7.7 million was obtained through the scheme. Jacomb was sentenced to 169 months in jail, ordered to pay the full amount in restitution, and must forfeit properties acquired with the stolen funds. The case was investigated by the IRS and Hazleton Police Department. The Red Sox organization gains another, and our Ryan Osachi has the story behind the local dream chaser who became their latest undrafted free agent.
I didn't know what to think. It's not how I imagined it would happen, but I'm super excited.
The Boston Red Sox welcomed Berwick native Jordan D. Valerio into their organization Sunday morning. But it's been a tough road for the pitcher, especially since this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity was achieved during a global pandemic.
It's definitely been a real push, getting my season canceled and then kind of mentally understanding that I have to keep on working because there's bigger and better things.
It all started with a phone call. Little did Jordan know that phone call would change his life.
I didn't accept it right on the spot. I talked to my parents about it, and they were equally excited. So when I called and told them I wanted to be part of the Red Sox, they were ecstatic. I'm just so happy to be part of such a great historic organization.
It wasn't just the call that came as a surprise, but who was on the other end of that call? Boston Red Sox pitcher Chris Sale.
Honestly, it was just crazy. I didn't think that they liked me that much to have, their number one pitcher give me a call. And it's such a great organization. It's probably the best in baseball. Like, the family environment's incredible.
But Jordan can't take all the credit for getting to where he is today. That credit goes to both his parents and former coaches.
Oh, I give them all the credit. My support systems have been incredible over the years, especially now being able to train. Like, I would have nowhere to throw if it wasn't for Brian.
I've been here since '06, and I got to tell you, when my staff, when we started, we had a couple goals set out for us, obviously to win, and we've done that, and we won a state title, but to see our players move on to the college level is great, but this was one of our goals, to try to help one of our own get to the major leagues. I hope he's not the last, but Jordan, certainly is going to represent us very well. And if he stays healthy, he has a really, really good shot. And we're truly humbled by it.
Jordan's more than grateful for Brian's hospitality at his old stomping grounds during these times of uncertainty.
It's just amazing the amount of resources that I have here. I'm just so happy that everybody has been so supportive, and I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen in my career.
Even in middle school, Brian knew Jordan's talents were something special, eventually bringing him up to varsity as a freshman.
We wanted to take care of him. He didn't pitch much as a freshman, but he could have. I do remember his work ethic. Jordan wasn't the most talented player we've ever had here, but he was very good, and what separates him now and why he's signing that contract is his work ethic. We've never had a player work like him, and you can see how it's paid off for him.
For the 4 years the Dogs had Jordan, Coach worked to perfect his pitching style and prepare him collegiately. Eventually, Jordan traded in his Dog jersey for a Hawk one, moving on to pitch for St. Joseph's University.
He's always been a huge help, very supportive. He's the one that kind of told me I needed to get a changeup going when I was in high school, and I got it working, and now here I am.
I think the one big thing with him, we talked about the mental side of the game, how to set up hitters and things like this. And the one thing that we really wanted to help him develop was a changeup, an off-speed pitch. And he said, when you get to that next level in college, you have to have that. And that was something he worked very hard on. And I think, you saw his bullpen today. I don't want to catch it without gear anymore.
At this point, Jordan hasn't heard the official word on where he'll play, so for now, he plans to stay in shape and stay ready.
Every young baseball player imagines, during a game, like pitching out in the World Series, just being able to possibly fulfill that dream is incredible. Doing things like this is really what's kind of bringing it to light, but until I actually step on a field in a Red Sox uniform, I don't know if it's going to feel completely real.
Wyln wishes the best of luck to Jordan and his journey into the MLB. Reporting in Berwick for Wyln Sports, I'm Ryan Osachi.
Thanks, Ryan. Great story. The Wolf administration recently updated veterinary guidelines to include routine or elective surgeries. Wyln's Julie Stefanovich has the details.
Going green means not only can people now receive elective surgeries, but pets too. The Wolf administration updated the guidance on veterinary practices to allow for elective surgical procedures, like spaying and neutering, to take place. Veterinarian practices were allowed to stay open throughout the pandemic according to the Pennsylvania State Board of Veterinary Medicine and the American Veterinary Medical Association's COVID-19 guidelines. The state's dog law requires shelters and rescues to have dogs and cats spayed or neutered before being adopted. That practice was waived back on April 2nd. Shelters kept a running list of pets adopted during the pandemic and have to follow up with pet owners to make sure that the procedures take place. Owners who have adopted a pet have 120 days from the time of adoption to have the procedures completed. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovic.
Thanks, Julie. Coming up on WYLN News, now you have even longer to renew your driver's license. Plus, although it's getting better, airports continue to struggle getting passengers. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old, and it's gonna rain out. Bye.
Welcome to Storytime with Dr. Stacy. Once there was a Buddha that walked into a village and a young man was very angry with him and said, "You have no right to teach the world anything. You're just as dumb as the next person. You're a scammer." Well, the Buddha refused to accept his insults and get angry himself. Instead, he posed the young man with a question. And he said, "If you buy a gift for someone and they refuse to accept it, to whom then does that gift belong to?" The young man, surprised, said, "Well, of course it belongs to me. I bought it." "Correct," smiled the Buddha. "Just as I refused to accept your anger and your insults, all of that negativity is yours, and it will make you unhappy and not me." Folks, there's so much negativity and negative people in everyone's life. Do not let them steal your power. Preserve and keep your peace. From my heart to yours.
Looking for information on the coronavirus pandemic? Make sure it's from a reliable source. Go to WYLNTV.com and click on the Lehigh Valley Health Network banner for the real facts about the coronavirus pandemic. And watch WYLN News live at 5:30 for updates on this ongoing crisis. The source matters now more than ever. WYLN, we're your local network.
PennDOT's extending expiration dates for driver's licenses, ID cards, and learner's permits even further. In response to statewide COVID-19 mitigation efforts, expiration dates scheduled for renewal from March 16th through July 31st now have until July 31st to do so. A camera card's considered a driver's license, so it's covered by the same terms and conditions that extend other driver's license products. However, some products previously extended to June 30th will not be extended. That includes vehicle registrations of all classes, safety and emissions inspections, and parking placards for persons with disabilities. Customers can continue completing various transactions and access multiple resources online at no additional cost by visiting dmv.pa.gov. Nearly 3 times the amount of passengers flew out of the WilkesBarre Scranton International Airport in May than April. Departures, however, remain far below last year's count due to the pandemic. The local airport saw 3,627 passengers depart in May, which was up 1,306 from April. But statistics also show AVP down 86.7% from the 27,305 it saw in May of 2019, which at the time broke records for their year-to-date standpoint and for being the second highest month for departures in AVP's history. Details on their latest flight schedules, health and safety procedures, and what they plan to add in the near future can be found on their website. Representative Jerry Knowles will be reopening his district office in Tamaqua for walk-in visitors with some restrictions starting the morning of Monday, June 29th at 9:30. For the past 6 weeks, Knowles' office was open by appointment only, so during the pandemic, Knowles and his staff assisted residents by phone and email. You can call 570-668-1240 for his Tamaqua office or email jknowles@pahousegop.com to reach Knowles and his staff. More information can also be found online at repknowles.com. The House advanced 2 bills this week to ensure police officers are properly vetted before hiring and appropriately trained to interact with individuals of diverse backgrounds. House Bill 1841 would require the disclosure of previous employer information to a law enforcement agency, permitting a court to compel the release of that information if the employer fails to comply. House Bill 1910 would require police officers to receive training on how to interact with individuals of diverse backgrounds. These measures are the first to advance in Pennsylvania as part of the Protect and Serve initiative to improve policing in the Commonwealth. Those bills are now heading to Senate for consideration. GNC's nearly $1 billion in debt, forcing them to recently file for bankruptcy. The 85-year-old vitamin and wellness company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after suffering a decline in sales at many of its store locations, even pre-pandemic. But during the pandemic, around 30% of the U.S. and Canada's GNC stores were forced to temporarily close. GNC reportedly plans to close up to 20% of its 5,800 retail locations. According to a report Wednesday in Business Insider, 248 GNC stores will initially close, 17 of which are right here in Pennsylvania. Coming up on Japan's News Choice, your week in review, plus your Luzerne County SPCA Furry Friends of the Week. So stay with us.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialist, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
AllCare Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call AllCare Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
Monday. A crash early Sunday morning claimed a life in Hazel Township. Emergency responders were called to 329 Airport Road around 1:30 Sunday morning. Crews found a vehicle that crashed into a building, and the road was down to one lane for at least 3 hours as state police controlled traffic. State police later identified the victim as 31-year-old Jamie Ehrenberg of Hazleton. According to police, the car he was driving veered onto the shoulder off Airport Road, hit a guardrail, then re-entered the road, crossing over to the other side, where it crashed into a building. Ehrenberg was ejected through the open roof and was found unresponsive by emergency responders. He was pronounced dead at the scene by the Luzerne County Coroner's Office. Tuesday. 2 homes were damaged during a fire Monday in Hazel Township. Fire crews responded to 245 Humboldt Street, where flames could be seen coming from the second floor of the structure. An attached home sustained water and smoke damage, but was said to be vacant. The 245 side is occupied, but nobody was home at the time of the incident. A state police fire marshal was on scene investigating the cause of that fire in Hazel Township. Wednesday. A Northumberland County man led police on a multi-county chase Monday night. State police at Hazleton attempted to pull over a Pontiac Grand Prix being driven by 36-year-old Brian Boblick near Maplewood Drive in Hazel Township. Boblick slowed down but quickly took off at a high rate of speed through Luzerne into Schuylkill County. He was eventually stopped near Redner's Warehouse Markets just outside Shenandoah on Route 924 and was taken into custody without incident. Police also found suspected drugs in the vehicle. He was charged with fleeing or attempting to elude police, possession of a controlled substance, reckless endangerment, and cruelty to animals, since he had a dog with him in his car during the pursuit. Thursday. The first reading of a proposed ordinance pertaining to the removal of city monuments was approved Wednesday night by Hazleton City Council. In order to remove a monument that's been on city property for 20 or more years, the proposed ordinance would require notarized signatures from at least 75% of the city's population, a hearing, and council vote. An online petition was started earlier this week calling for the removal of Memorial Park's Columbus statue, along with renaming Columbus Court Playground. The proposed ordinance must be approved by council on 3 readings, with the final readings vote scheduled to happen July 8th. Friday. The Hazleton Area School Board voted unanimously at last night's meeting to adopt their 2020-2021 fiscal budget, meaning that unfortunately, taxes will rise. Property taxes will be going up for Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Carbon County homeowners, the highest increase allowed by the Pennsylvania Act 1 Index. The district's deficit started out at almost $9 million, but officials worked to cut it nearly in half, to just under $3.9 million. The majority of the deficit was pandemic-related and saw no increase in state funding. With so many people out of work, it led to the district suffering an earned income tax loss. A 38% drop in real estate transfer taxes was also seen. The board also voted to purchase Chromebooks for every student in the district. 3,000 computers plus licenses cost $547,710, which came through the Pennsylvania Education Purchasing Program that bids on the lowest priced equipment. The funding came from the CARES Act grant, which gave Hazleton Area a one-time amount of $3.67 million that can be spent over a 3-year period. Now, the district's one step closer to providing computers to the 11,500 that make up its student body. Hazleton Area's next regular school board meeting is scheduled for July 23rd at 6. That's it for your week in review here on WYLN News.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
We've seen the concern in your eyes. You're scared, nervous, want to know if it's safe. The answer is yes. At LVHN, you'll see the extraordinary steps we take to get you the care you need safely. You'll see all our facilities are COVID safe, temperature checks for everyone, that we sanitize every surface. And yes, you'll see that masks are required. What we look forward to seeing is relief in your eyes. Lehigh Valley Health Network. Your health deserves a partner.
Tune in every Sunday night on WYLN from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop action as only Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling High Voltage can bring you. That's Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling every Sunday night on WYLN. I'll see you in the ring.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon
At 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
Hazleton Area's Class of 2020 virtual commencement ceremony is coming up next week, and you're invited. The virtual ceremony will be live streamed Thursday, July 2nd at 6, and you can watch it right here on WYLN. A slideshow of pictures taken throughout this past school year will kick off at 5:35 p.m., so don't forget to tune in at 6 p.m. next Thursday for Hazleton Area's 2020 virtual graduation ceremony right here on WYLN TV. And if you've been thinking about adopting a pet, well, there's no time like the present. Luzerne County SPCA's got more furry friends this week for you to check out. Chico's back, and still the man. This friendly little guy just loves to hang out on your shoulder. The black, adult male feline would love to meet you. Up next is Mia. She's a 7-year-old gray gal who's actively looking for a new place to call home. She loves giving kisses and rolling around in the grass, pavement, or whatever she can find to roll on. And lastly, meet Misha. She's a bicolor pretty cat who loves to give you her paw and some head bumps as well. She's a total furball, full of love and purrs. Contact the Luzerne County SPCA at 570-825-4111 and bring a new best friend into your life. We can once again thank COVID for another cancellation this year, this time in Carbon County. Jim Thorpe's annual Fall Festival draws thousands through the month of October, but this year, the Jim Thorpe Tourism Agency announced Thursday they won't be organizing its Fall Festival weekends. Instead, they'll be promoting town merchants, their special menus, and sales for the fall season, since craft vendors won't be available this time around. They'll embrace the slogan, "Fall in Love with Jim Thorpe" this year to get visitors downtown, in hopes of seeing people pop into locally owned boutique shops for their fall sales. That's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find the real facts about COVID-19 from LVHN. Stay with us. Look at today's weather's next, right here on WYLN TV.
We've seen the concern in your eyes. You're scared, nervous, want to know if it's safe. The answer is yes.